Hey, True Believers England team here with the GABBY Awards. It's that time where you nominated the worst comic books of the year so far. Now we get to choose the winners. All right, we're going to go over each category, and all you have to do is in the description, I'll have a list of all the nominees. Just erase the ones you don't want to vote for, leave the ones you do. And look, I understand some of you weren't there for the nomination process. You want to include the ones, well, you should have put this one. That's great. Just include it with your votes. Don't forget to vote. This is your voice. Do not let your voice be silent on this one. This is you telling us what you think the worst comic books of 2021 so far are. So kick back, relax, and let's get this party started. First up, we have Worst Fall from Grace Comic Book Creator Edition, and the nominees are James Tynion for Batman, Donnie Cates for Thor, Al Ewing for Immortal Hulk, Charles Soule for Darth Vader in the Star Wars books, and finally Gerry Duggan for the Marauders. Next up, we have Worst Fall from Grace for comic book characters. These were comic book characters that seemed to be riding a high and then just hit a big low. From DC Comics, we have the Batman. From DC Comics, we have Alana Strange. The once formidable but yet now a comedic villain, the Taskmaster. The once formidable but now comedic MODOK. Wait, was he ever formidable or was he always... You know what? I liked him. Anyway, MODOK. And finally, Thor. Here are the nominees for most overused comic book character. From DC Comics, we have the Batman. From Marvel Comics, Venom. Going back to DC Comics, we got to talk about the Joker. Dynamite Comics can't seem to use any other character but Vampirella these days. And once again, back to DC Comics and seemingly the Bat family, we have Harley Quinn. Next up, we have the nominees for Worst Crossover Story. Now, this is any storyline that crosses over into multiple titles. From Marvel Comics, we've got the HELLFIRE GALA. Also from Marvel Comics, we have King in Black. Over at DC Comics, Future State. Going back to Marvel, Heroes Reborn. And also from Marvel Comics, War of the Bounty Hunters, starring the Star Wars books. Next up is the nominees for Worst Storyline. This is whatever story is going on in any single series. Enter the Phoenix from the Avengers. Cowardly Lot in the Batman title. Future State Legion of Superheroes. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Jennica Rocks. Future State Superman of Metropolis. Isn't it the one where he shrinks Metropolis? Here are the nominees for Worst Superhero Comic Book, Movie, or TV Show. Starting off with Thunder Force from Netflix. Over at Disney Plus, we had The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Batwoman Season 2 from CW? Really? Over on Hulu, you could have watched MODOK. And again on CW, we have Season 7 of The Flash. Next up are the nominees for Worst One-Issue Comic or Graphic Novel. For Marvel Comics, we have Indigenous Voices. Over at DC, we had Batman number 108. DC Comics pandered and embarrassed themselves with Pride. Also from DC Comics, we had The Other Side of the DC History. And over at Marvel Comics, they decided to fix Jack Kirby and Joe Simon's classic Captain America comic by having it rewritten and redrawn by modern comic book artists and writers. Here are the nominees for Worst Mini or Maxi Series. From DC Comics, we've got Rorschach. Next up, we have the independent comic book Dracula Lives. Over at DC Comics also is Tom King's Strange Adventures. Another one from DC Comics. Hey kids, it's Future State Legion of Superheroes. And Image Comics gave us Commanders in Crisis. Next up, we have the nominees for Worst Ongoing Series. From DC Comics, we have The Batman. Marvel Comics gives us Iron Man. And Marvel Comics also gives us Star Wars The High Republic. Hey look kids, it's a Marvel book. It's Captain America. And not wanting to feel left out of this category, Marvel Comics gave us Children of the Atom. Here are the nominees for Worst Comic Book Publisher. Marvel Comics, publisher of such gems such as Captain America and basically everything from the last category. DC Comics, publishing such gems as the Superman comic and ruining Batman and whatever they're doing over at Harley Quinn. Okay, so next up is Valiant, but in all honesty, I kind of dropped them when Heather Anto started editing, so I can't tell you what's good or bad. I'd tell you what Bad Idea produced, but none of their comics actually reached readers' hands. And then we have the racist comics of Black Mask and Kwanzaa. Alrighty, let's talk about the nominees for Worst Artist of the beginning of 2021. Riley Rosmo for Future State Legion of Superheroes. Eric Larson for Savage Dragon. Yes, again. Mitch Gerards for Strange Adventures. Yoshi Tani for Crush and Lobo. And last but maybe least is Drew Moss on Red Sonja. Here are the nominees for Worst Writer, January to June 2021. Tom King for Strange Adventures. John Ridley for The Other Side of the DC History. Brian Michael Bendis on The Justice League. Kelly Thompson on Captain Marvel. Ta-Nehisi Coates on the character they're calling Captain America. And Vita Ayala for her part in Milestone Returns. Here are the nominees for the worst independent comic book January to June in 2021. From Image and Donnie Cates, we have Crossover. From Image and Steve Orlando, Commanders in Crisis. Hey guys, look, it's Image again, but this time with Robert Kirkman and Die, Die, Die. Image is working overtime because they also gave us Savage Dragon from Eric Larson. And from oh wait, nope, not an Image comic. It's Source Print Press and The Cult of Dracula. Alrighty kids, next up we have Worst Marvel Comic Jan to June 2021. Here are the nominees. Marvel Voices, it's like Marvel Indigenous Voices. Captain America. Iron Man. Captain Marvel. And The Avengers. Next up, we've got the nominees for Worst DC Comic Jan to June 2021. Superman. Batman. The Other History of the DC Universe. Future State Legion of Superheroes. And Milestone Returns. Special Edition, Ultimate Edition, or whatever it was. Okay, kids, here it is. The big one. Worst comic book, Jan to June 2021. How much hard work was thrown into these books, and they still just ended up being trash. Jason Aaron's The Avengers. John Ridley's The Other History of the DC Universe. Cantwell's Iron Man over at Marvel Comics. And we have Future State, Legion of Superheroes, done by Brian Michael Bendis and Riley Rosmo. And last but definitely not least in this category is Ta-Nehisi Coates' Captain America. So there you go, gang. Those are the nominees. Once again, the whole list is going to be in the description below. And all you have to do to vote is to cut and paste into the comment section, erasing those that you don't want to vote for. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And once again, yes, I understand you'll have an urge to go, but you forgot. Absolutely fine. But these are the nominees. Don't forget to vote. Make your voice heard. All right. Also, don't forget to click like, share, subscribe, and ring the notification bells here, as well as if you don't mind helping out the channel, going over to Ko-Fi or Patreon. I'd like to thank everybody who's already done that. To everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.